Pretty live.
Good morning. Welcome to Rush Academy Facebook Live, week 1. This is our first actual broadcast from our new collection, Tomboy. So this is my model Nika. My name is Andrew Heisman. I'm the International Creative Director for Rush. Got it the wrong way around there. That's interesting. So, how have I started the haircut? First of all, I've head mapped the haircut. Working from the left, working to a horseshoe line, just to a point running to in line with the mastoid bone. Then I've curved my section up in a C shape through to the front. If I just turn that around. Now, I've just been working, I've just done a little bit of pre-cutting today. I've worked a little bit of round grad, which is directional sections like diagonal back, working round the head shape to create a perfect rounded shape. So the graduation line follows the shape of the head. Disconnecting a little bit of the outline away. Now this is going to come in handy for me later when I start to kind of work my balances, because what I'm going to do with the other side is work it quite graphic. But there's going to be more hair on the top coming over, so the whole thing in the end will have almost like this twisted interior balance. So using some of the outline and some of these details will be quite interesting, I think. We're joined by two students today. They're obviously in the background. They can ask questions. You know, you guys can ask questions. They're all welcome.
Say hi, guys.
Hey.
You guys, you know, out there, the more questions the better. I think it evokes a lot of thought on my part, and it also, you know, you get exactly what you want out of it. So,
if you've got any comments, guys, please post them in the comments box. They'll pop up on our screen. I'll be able to ask them to Andy.
100% straight away, but you know, we'll ask as we answer as we go along. Just keeping the hair moist for now. I've started with a product which, whenever I cut short hair, I think it's really important. I've started with a product called List Control. Now, List Control is a product for me that doesn't dry out. It's from the L'Oreal range. It actually adds to my moisture content, and it's like a cream, so it doesn't dry. It's not got loads of alcohol in it. It's really, really nice. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. I'm now going to keep working to the opposite side. Now I'm using the fine end of the comb here. I'm not taking a lot off this right hand side. You'll see as I go onto my left, I will be taking slightly more off the hair because we left it longer last time. This time I'm going to be taking it a little bit tighter. You can see just really small amounts at the moment. Putting the weight just on my occipital bone. This is very, very important. Obviously always working, even though I work advanced with my shapes, you know, today we're working with classic strength of movement, which, you know, from Rush is something quite trademark. Let me explain to you exactly what that means. It means the underneath is the foundational shape. It's where all the strength comes from. So with all this power in the foundation, we make sure it's very pure and very perfect in technique. The top, we're going to work a slightly more transient line in areas to make sure that it falls into the underneath shape, hence the strength and movement concept. So the idea of foundation, then slightly more seamless and overflowed through the top. And that's where our movement aspect comes. Very kind of yin-yang in origin, the idea of it. The whole idea of masculine and feminine and so on and so forth. Funny enough, we're talking about our philosophies, but this collection, Tomboy, actually comes from a very, very genderless approach. The whole idea of the Tom Ford ads being, you know, the perfumes being worn by both male and female. And we've got people like Gucci throwing that into the mix now, where it's very, very feminine on the masculine side. So this genderless thing is massive at the moment. So I think that's the way we're going to go with this season. Now as I'm working round, my body position is moving as I'm working, thus making the graduation follow round with me. I'm going to keep my direction in the section and just keep elevating to ensure I don't build up too much weight. I don't want to pull down to the line, because if I pull down to the line, the graduation angle will change. Each section I take needs to be lifted just that little bit more. Now I'm flattening this area just to ensure that when the top comes over, that's where I'm going to get my curve. This top area is going to fall over this panel, which will create, if you haven't got two connectional points, which will create movement, but then also create more volume, which is going to create my femininity. Keeping clean with the sections. I'm going to work till I get to this point here in the section, and then I'm going to go static on my pivot, which means from that point I'm going to direct my sections in a pivotal manner. Just seeing the shape now. One thing I encourage all hairdressers to do as they're cutting, make sure you stand back a bit, you know. Have a look at your shape from a perspective, not too, you know, you're in it. You have to stand back, have a look at it, so you can actually see the whole picture, the bigger picture, if you like. I'm working, guys can start to see this flatness that I'm creating within the interiors.
It's a good night, Ed.
Thank you, Chris. Good, man. If you guys got any questions, please fire them away. Although I'm explaining absolutely everything I'm doing, there might be something on your mind where my thought process might be there, or so on and so forth. Just go for it, scoot it across. As I'm moving around, keeping my body positioned always on the left-hand side of the section. I'm not staying static because I'm not directing my weight. At the moment, I'm removing the weight throughout. I'm starting to get a really nice curve there. Hope you guys can see everything I'm doing. Now, give me a thumbs up if you can hear. So, if you can hear what I'm saying, please give me a few thumbs up. Make sure we're actually coming across audially as well.
You got Marcus Garcia says, "Hey up, Andy."
How you doing, mate? You good? I love this guy. Brilliant. One of the guys from Brighton. It's fantastic, a little hairdresser. So now directing onto the previous, making sure my body's coming around. Now working horizontal. Now, whenever I work horizontal, kind of my head is in the fact that I'm kind of building weight. It assists me to build weight. I can elevate very high and remove weight if I want, but for me, it assists me on controlling the amount of weight I leave in the hair when I work horizontally. Vertically, because I'm on the angle of my fingers, I always flatten the shape in a little bit higher. So, for me now, working that little bit horizontally is going to help me control a little bit more weight on how much I leave in, because it's left in by the amount that I lift, so it helps me. So I'm going to now start to go a little bit more horizontally now, but I'm going to start to follow my finger angle into the shape, which is going to remove a little bit of the weight from the previous shape, because I left it quite heavy last time.
Andy, you've also got Ashley Haynes sort of tuned in now from Canterbury.
Amazing. He's one of our future stars of the show. How you doing, Ashley? We shared the stage this year at Sun International. We did fellowship and HJ. Did we do just fellowship? I can't remember. But we had a great weekend. So now coming from that point, elevating, which is now start to remove a little bit more weight from the haircut. What I am going to do with this shape, just so you guys are a little bit on the loop, I'm going to basically cut the fringe off on this shape. So this area here I've isolated away. I'll just turn that across. I'm going to crop this area down. I'm going to work with a really short layer and almost put this really short fringe into the hair. I've cut Nika's hair for a while and she suits almost anything. She really looks good with most haircuts. So we've done the teardrop for quite a long time with her, you know, with this kind of length through the front. I think it's time for a little bit of a change. And then I'm going to leave the crown, drop it over, and I think what I'm going to do is work that with a little bit more of a dry concept, a little bit more, take it down a little bit drier than wet. I might need to put a layer in it first, I'll see when I drop it, but I'm going to work a little bit freer through that area, purely so I get this kind of strength running right the way around that area, and a little bit looser and softer through that panel.
You got a question come through from Ashley.
Brilliant.
And Ashley's asking how you're incorporating the new collection Tomboy into the Academy courses at the minute.
Well, it's a really good question actually, because it leads on to some of our courses. Some of our courses we're doing at the moment are, one of them is called Inspiration, where we work the idea of cut, colour and finish. And this is quite conceptual. So some of the looks will be incorporated from Tomboy, some of the looks will be incorporated from Lost Rebels, because we did 2 collections this year. One of them was session, one of them was cutting and colouring. So we'll be incorporating that into that course. Plus, I mean, Tomboy for me is just a concept, you know. I think the whole idea of education is the fact that we can give people the tools to create their own story.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, you know. I think whenever we launch a collection, that's just a little backstory for the season. But on the courses from the Academy, it's really about teaching technique to give people scope to make their own decisions. I think that's really important with education.
Yeah.
Giving people the tools to be able to make their own collections, to be able to make their own concepts. Because I think the thing I love about hairdressing is each hairdresser's individual. That, you know, I don't want to teach people to be me. I don't want to teach anyone to be me or even brainwash people. It's really about giving people the tools to make their own decisions.
I think that's a good point, Andy, because I think, you know, a lot of the time people are always sort of talking about, I want a new technique, I want a technique. But I think if you understand the theory behind why someone does something or the concept behind how something works,
Yeah.
then you can create your own techniques.
You can deliver, can't you, on yourself? As you know, Ashley, you know, I think, you know, it's great as we work with stories and stuff, backstories. Yeah, they're important to us to sell a collection, but you know, we should be able to work anything from, you know, the 60s classic bob or a halo, or something really kind of disconnected and conceptual, you know. But I think it really all stems from the classics, really, for me. And how we cut hair and how we approach hair is very important. Today you're going to hear me, I want to talk a little bit about the steps of hair cutting and how you shouldn't combine them. I think it's really important, because I think there's so many people, they put their basic shape in and they're kind of refining as they're going along.
So Andy, what are the 3 for you? What are the 3 basic steps then?
3 basic steps for me are, first of all, it's the basic shape you apply into the haircut. I think that's, you know, that's what I'm doing now. I'm following each section and moving through very methodically. Then I need to cross-check that. So I need to, again, in a minute, when I come across, I need to check that, make sure everything's in line, make sure it's all strong, the foundation's strong.
Yep.
And then I need to work my refinement technique, where I start to work a little bit more visual. Now, this is the part where I think it's really important, because obviously they're all important. We need the structure in the shape, and you need to be able to check the shape, and it all needs to be in balance. First 2 steps are as important as the last. But the refining is when your personality comes into the haircut. And I think, you know, that's when you kind of separate yourself from another hairdresser. You know, you put your stamp into it,
Yeah.
your visuality. You know, you can go on, and I can go on and on and on and on, cutting. I really can. I'm a bit of a OCDer, if you like, when it comes to cutting hair. But I think there needs to be a line where you go, right, that's enough. We've got the shape. And you don't over-refine it either. So we're going to cover a lot on the refining today as well. So each section now, elevating slightly higher than the other. As you can see now, it's removed a little bit more weight from that right-hand side. I'm going to do the carving afterwards, on my outline and so on and so forth, which I think is really important.
So as you've worked around the head there, Andy, your finger angle has changed quite a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So
It's literally worked from left to right. You know, if you looked at the way I've worked, you know, it's worked diagonal back,
yeah.
2 diagonal forward. So we've literally worked the process very, very slowly, working round until I'm directing forward. So now my weight is going to be slightly heavier on this side.
Got you.
But with the elevation, it's allowed me to kind of work with the curvature of the head. So I'm going to now cross-check that. This is the bit where hairdressers got fingers crossed. Everything crossed. You check, you should see a nice clean line running through the shape.
Could you start that side and then from the front?
You
and
could,
work back?
yeah, you can, but the way I've worked, because of the shape change, we've got slightly heavier through the left. It'll make it easier for you if you start from the right, going directing, because you're directing the way. This way, it'll be a bit more kind of guesswork. Do you understand? You'll have to adjust your fingers. So I think it's using your sections to really control exactly where you want the weight, which is very important. Just going to continue now as I cross-check through. Now I think a key thing to cross-checking is the fact that whatever way you've worked, which is this way, always go against that. Now I'm checking my elevation, making sure that it's all balanced. And that's starting to clean through quite nicely.
It shows you if you're nice, though.
Thank you, mate. So at this stage, when you get to this stage, when I've cross-checked my weight, then we're going to close what we call the panel underneath off. Now the section underneath, we're going to close it off. To do that, I'm going to dry the hair off so I can refine. Because I refine on dry hair. I want to see how the hairline reacts. I want to see a number of things. I want to see the hair being brought together so I can cut a really clean line. I can apply my scissor over comb, which I'm going to do, because I'm going to dust the hair through. And basically, why do we dry the hair off from a scissor over comb? I need to make sure I apply some tension to the comb so it applies like a finger tension. Because obviously if you scissor over comb on wet hair, the hair is going to move. The hair is going to come with you. You need to apply attention to it. So first of all, I'm going to use a Denman blow dry. So I'm going to almost wrap dry the hair, wrap dry it into its natural position. I've already applied this control to the hair, so I don't need to apply any more product.
You've got a hi from Israel, Andy, from Aviv.
From who?
Aviv again.
Hello, how you doing, man?
Nice to have you tuned in. So when you're doing this sort of drying off, Andy, any tips? Because I always think the way you use the nozzle looks quite kind of important there.
Yeah, I think always keep the hair pointing down, the hair shaft. You know, it's not a rough dry. You're trying to create smoothness through the hair. So the airflow needs to be with the cuticle, which I think is really important. I'm not trying to create any volume here at all. The whole idea of this is to create a hair that sits to its natural position and its natural fall. So I'm just using the nozzle in a way where the hair's pointing down the shaft.
Avi says thanks for sharing, Andy. Avi, we're going to be doing this once a week from our academy here in Covent Garden. So please, if you like what you're seeing, please share it, spread the word, and tune in each week to see what we're up to.
Brilliant. Thank you. You can start to see the foundation shape coming into the hair now. Now as that's starting to dry, I'm now, as the hair's dried underneath, excuse me, not started to dry, I'm now going to work in panels. I'm just going to work a bit of scissor over comb. And this is just to obviously, one, check my technique, but the technique should be fine. It shouldn't actually need too much of a change of shape. Just coming through and dusting the shape as we move through. But you're literally just tapering the interior.
I know scissor over comb is one of those things people often find tricky, Andy. Have you got any tips?
Just make sure that you stand back from it, don't get too close to it as you're working through. And remember, it's a technique like any other. You're creating a guide, and then you should move through.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is, even though this is just a refining tool at the moment, but what a lot of people actually do, they make a huge mistake of, they just start going randomly in different areas. You've got to work methodical like you do in any way. And panel, panel, panel. The first area, get it right, get it perfect. Then you can move on to your next panel and make sure that that's perfect. Before you move on, don't jump all over the place. I think that's the key.
Got Marcus Garcia says your comb at a slight angle there when it's a slight longer length.
Yes, so I'm adjusting out, always working curved, Marcus. Very good point. So you're coming in flat, and then you move your comb out to obviously build a little bit more length into the hair, because we're working a graduation technique. That's how I'm working horizontally as well.
And you've also got a hi from the Hugh Campbell hair group who are watching from Ireland.
Oh, lovely girl. One of your lovely girls here at the moment. So literally just coming through the shape.
You haven't rung in sick today then?
Oh yeah. Checking up on you. Checking up on you. That's what it is. Just literally manufacturing the interiors. Doesn't need hardly anything off. Just tidy and dust at the moment. I'm going to work with quite strong exteriors on this line. But before I do so, I need to make sure everything is perfect on the interior first. You can see I flatten that shape beautifully underneath, so when the top comes over, it'll create that beautiful shape in the end. As you can see, minimal work. Using the fine end of the comb, this gives me slightly more tension than the wide end, which is obviously matching up with my fingers. Because when you're working, when I work my graduation or work my layers, I allow the comb tension to do a lot of the work, rather than me putting too much stress on the hair. When you scissor over combing and the hair's dry, you're almost creating that balance in tension, which allows you to check correctly.
It's something you do quite a lot, isn't it, with this kind of shape? It's sort of almost like cross-checking or refining, I suppose.
Yeah. Just a little bit of, you're just checking everything, you know, you're making sure everything's... Just want to go over my fingers now and check my elevation. Keeping a very strong line at the moment. Now I'm going to start to work with the exterior line. So I'm going to come across. So I'm going to use a little bit of tension. Just use the wide end of the comb, just to steady the hair. I'm going to start to remove some of this hair away.
We've got Matthias Santalan. Andy just tuned in, he says hello from Argentina.
Hello my man, how you doing? Oh, lovely guys. I worked a little bit out there a couple of times, I've absolutely loved it. Beautiful country.
Yeah, it was a lovely country, wasn't it? And we had met loads of really nice people out there, didn't we?
Amazing. Using the points of the scissors now. Start to carve the line away. These are very important areas, these. You're working a little bit visual.
Aviv says, Andy, will you use thinning scissors?
I don't tend to. I haven't used them. I never trained with them. I trained under the idea of, you know, creating line, obviously, and using elevation to remove weight. I understand a lot of people use them. It's not something I'm ever going to kind of go, oh my God, you know, put yourself in a furnace, you shouldn't do that. But, you know, I think, you know, I tend to work with the elevation. That's what I tend to work with. I like to put the purity in the line first. Keep a very strong structure within the shapes. It's just something that I've kind of got that background. Now I'm going to just start to curve my shape through the hairline. You know, you can work just by removing weight. You just need to lift slightly higher and take your section lower if you want to really remove weight from the hair interiorly. And I like to keep, I don't like to change. The reason being, I don't want to touch a little bit on this thinning scissor thing because, like I say, I know some people do it and I know a lot of people use it. The reason I don't like to use it, I don't like to change the actual structure of the hair, which sometimes I feel thinning scissors do a little bit of. So they might make the hair have a tendency to go a little bit frizzier than normal. Plus, whenever you're cutting secondary lines in the hair, you possibly could create a shape where it expands the outline shape out. So you're cutting shorter lines in the hair, which could, those shorter areas can push the longer areas out, which actually goes against exactly what you're trying to do.
Just a quick question from me, Andy, as well, because you're doing the outline detail.
Yeah.
Have you? What's helping you to make the decision of what it should look like?
It's a really good question. For me, her natural shape of hairline is helping me, so I'm using that a little bit. So I'm not going above her natural hairline. Mm-hmm. I'm using that as a guide, for one. So you can see it's hitting her natural hairline here. It's hitting her natural hairline here. Nothing goes above the hairline. So my hairline's been my guide so far. As you can see, I'm removing a little bit of hairline here, but not too high. And I'm going to work into a very soft point into the back. I'm kind of lengthening out the neck area here.
So you've got a good morning from Dublin from Lorraine Keating.
Hello, Lorraine. So stand back from your shape now, have a little look at the way it's sort of developing. My first line's appearing in quite nicely. Now I always use pointing on the outline. Obviously this is to allow the line to sit closer into the head, so it tapers the line. Now I'm going to come from the middle now and come the other way. I'll start with the club, put a little bit of a guide in first. Stand back, have a look at the line. Using a little bit of tension on the comb, just a tiny bit, not too much. Obviously if you put too much stress on the hair will jump and you will lose the outline you want to build in. I'm using a very loose tension.
Marcus is asking, is this to keep balance?
Yes. Remember, when you're working over dry markers, you're working visually as well, mate. So your balance is with your eyes, because whenever you're cutting hair dry, this is now a very visual technique I'm doing. So again, stand back, look at it rather than, because if you look at that shape now, when I'm standing back from it, it's got quite a nice balance to it. It's got a few little details, but it's really visually matching up quite nicely.
TJP says, amazing as always, Andy.
Oh, thank you. Going right to the hairline, using that as a guide. My little sis on TJ.
Aviv, Andy, is asking how long you've been in hairdressing, since you seem to really enjoy it.
I love hairdressing. I've been hairdressing, oh Jesus, it's a long time actually now. Oh, that's a good question. I think it's 20, I'm 44.
25 years?
Yeah, it must be 25 years. Quite a long time actually. I still enjoy it as much now as I did then. I think I'm still as challenged. Still challenge myself, put myself in situations where I'm pushing myself. You know, I've got weaknesses like everybody else. You know, I need to look at aspects, you know, where I want to learn to dress longer hair a lot more and so on and so forth. You know, I'm not bad at styling it, but it's, you know, there's always elements that I can grow. And I think it's important that you look at yourself in that way and you go, I can adapt, I can move on. I'm fortunate enough, I direct a very, very strong team. So, you know, I've got Tina Fari, I've got Jamie Benny, which are very, very, very strong at long hair, which I'm always coinciding with. Because I think long hair is something that's never ending as well. You know, the fashions change, the trends change every season.
Yep.
There's always a new wave, there's always a new plait, braid or something that we can all learn. And I think that makes it exciting, that keeps me excited all the time. And cutting hair, I think, you know, it's developing, you know, when I started hairdressing, I think the education thing now, you know, when you've got things like Facebook Live, you have got these things that are coming. Education's a lot more easier to grab. You know, it's out there all the time. So I think education's moving really, really well.
Yeah, education's always sort of moving forward. I think actually now there's more availability of education, isn't there, than there ever has been before.
Availability is out there, you know, it's just out there to grab, which I think's amazing.
You've got a question.
Please.
Matthias Sansavan
Yes.
says the scissors that Edge has. So He's asking about the point of your scissors or the edge of your scissors.
I'm here today, I'm using wings. So I'm using wing scissors. I love wings, I think they're really, really beautiful, a beautiful blade.
You've got the modern shape, haven't you, and the one with the point on it?
No.
No, you haven't?
I don't. These aren't the modern ones.
These are the original wings.
These are the original wings I'm using today. Yeah. I think scissors are really important though, guys. I think everyone talks about scissors. I think it's, you know, your blades are so important. One thing I look for is, like you say, Matthias, keeping a nice thin blade on it. I don't like to have the blade too wide or too rounded, because I don't think that it makes your detail work very easy. I don't like to have the blade too long either, because I feel that I lose control. I think it's easier for me when I've got a shorter blade to control myself.
You've got another question?
Yes.
Aviv says, who influences you the most during your years in the profession?
Oh God, I've been influenced by so many people. I think I'm a member of the fellowship, so British Hairdressing Fellowship, and I think being part of that family of hairdressers, we share the stage every year. You've got some of the biggest names in the industry are members. Obviously, you've got, you know, Sassoon, you've got us, you've got, you know, everyone's in there.
Yeah.
And I think when you go to Sun International, you're kind of sharing the stage with these guys. You're looking around, and I do workshop evenings with them, and so on and so forth. And you're just looking around, and you're getting inspiration. I don't want to pick one name. I'm not going to pick one name. Because I'm going to say there's so many. And I think if you look at our British Hairdressing Award nominees and people like that, and people that have won the award, I always look at the collections for a little bit of inspiration every year. What guys are doing, because I think you're always going to get a little bit of a fresh approach. So I just keep my eyes open. But I get a lot of my inspiration, to be honest with you, mate, from the streets. Because I think being in London, we're very fortunate, us guys, being in London, because I think there's such an eclectic mix out there. You'd be mad if you didn't get influenced just by walking around, you know. Let me just tidy her up a bit. She's covered, isn't she? There we go. Let's give her a little bit of a clean up.
Got Robbie Al-Sunny says, good effort to show the essentials live.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my friend. I think I respect anybody that kind of, you know, educates anything, you know, gets on stage and shows anything, you know, because I think at the end of the day, you're putting yourself out there, aren't you? You're kind of sharing what you know. And I think it's not about shoving, oh, this is the right way down people's necks. It's about sharing and about, you know, what can we share with each other? What can we give each other? That's what education's about.
Yeah, I think there's a big, you know, thing for sharing what you know in the industry, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic. I think there's more people sharing, and we all learn that way. Like Andy says, when you can go and watch people, and there's always something you're going to take from anything you see. You've got Lynn Webster saying, Andy, that she's seen you, she's a member of the fellowship, and she's seen you loads of times. She comes all the way down from Merseyside to watch you when you're on air.
Thank you so much, that's lovely. Thank you, Lynn.
It's nice, that's lovely, yeah.
I'm just pushing the hair up, so not stabbing the line, working from the underneath of the line. So I'm keeping my initial technique that I'm working with. So now just again pushing the line up.
And do you always use the clippers to refine this kind of shape, or?
I mean, when I've got neck hair like this, yeah, I tend to, you know, like to use them. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I can stand there doing it with my scissors. I've got to be honest with you, you know, we are a salon business as well. I think that's really important. you know, we run a business, you know, we need to stay on time, we have appointments we need to keep to. And I can stand there doing, you know, obviously, but I think you get to the point where, you know, I have to work in a fluid way.
I actually think it looks cleaner as well.
Cleaner, takes it away, exactly. I'm going to just pop a little line in here. Just a tiny bit. Just keeping the line. This is way I'm looking at working this tomboy thing where I take the sideburns a little bit more masculine, not so feminine into a point, working a little bit more graphic.
Rick Roberts, sorry, says Andy, looking good, mate.
Oh, thank you, Rick. He's another one from the fellowship we work with a lot. It's an incredible hairdresser. And I think, you know, it's part of the family, if you like. It's just great to work when you've got, you know, people from up north, people from south, all working together. It's incredible. So, moving this crown area away. Clip the hair back here. My next area, my next zone I'm going to work with is the front. Now this area now I'm going to work, I'm going to lay this area down basically. Now the only thing I'm not sure about is, I hope I didn't overcommit because I might go a bit deeper with this, but I'm going to start with this first. So I can always go a little bit deeper afterwards and see how the hair's sitting, okay? So, first section, I'm going to start on the left hand side, her left. Now working over my fingers to elevate the weight.
Lynn says, being the fellowship is one of the best things. She's joined alongside the National Hairdressing Federation.
Oh, amazing.
So can you tell Andy, my staff now help backstage at the exhibitions? What's good about that is it gives the younger members of the team the chance to work alongside amazing stylists, learning with them.
Yes, I think you know, I think you say, I mean, and also we do a lot of, you know, there's a lot of workshops where you can attend up and down the country, everywhere from, I know Ken Picton this year held one in Spain, Wales, Spain, yeah. Jesus Christ.
In the valleys.
In the valleys. And that was an amazing evening. I've personally done the one in Scotland, which is always buzzing. They do them up in London. It's just incredible. Everyone from everywhere comes and joins and educates. Work it on platforms, it's incredible.
Yeah, I've been mentoring this year the Fellowship Colour Project, working with the team. So hi guys, to all the team, if any of you are watching. And I've got to say, I think the opportunity that the Fellowship gives, and this isn't a day obviously for bigging up and just talking about the Fellowship, but the opportunity the Fellowship gives to get access to so much education is fantastic, isn't it?
100%.
I know it's helped my career, and I'm sure yours as well, Andy, along the way.
100%.
To be exposed to people. You've got Daniel Burke tuned in. He says, do you prefer one side to cut first? And he's talking about your body positioning.
Yes, I mean, I'm working here because I want to get a drift, Danielle. I want to get a drift, so I'm drifting the hair slightly from left to right. And I'm leaving this slightly heavier. Can you see that? When I actually lifted the hair up, you've got a slight disconnection in this area. So when you lift it, it's clean from the fringe, but I've actually left this longer because this is the graduation I actually want to build into the hair. So I've purposely done that. You do not want to connect. So now I'm going to start, once I've hit the middle, I'm now going to start to drift my sections across. So I'm going to start now just pivoting very slightly so I get slightly more of an overhang on the right hand side. So on this circumstance, yes I would. But if I was working balance, I think, to be honest with you, it's probably always easier if you start from the middle, because then you're working your balance outwards, so you're going to get more symmetry.
Yeah.
But really good questions.
Yeah, good, guys. We love the interactions. The more questions, I think, the better. There's, you know, it's much better to ask a question than to wonder. you might help somebody else out as well, because they might be thinking the same thing.
I was thinking the same thing.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Why am I doing this today? Again, remember, this is just the basic shape for now.
I'll tell you, that fringe looks great on Nika from here.
Do you like it, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, she's had that long front on it for, I don't know how long, 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while actually, to be honest. The one that got away there. So just literally edging my sections across the shape. I'm going to elevate. I'm just following the guide from the underneath.
Andy, Lynn Webster says, can I ask you if you enter the British Hairdressing Awards every year?
Not every year. I have done the last. As a company, yes.
Yeah.
As a company, yes, we do. Me personally, I didn't this year. I did a collection, but I didn't enter it because I did it slightly later this year. I released it on my Instagram, so if you want to have a look at it, obviously you can. Quite pleased with it, but I didn't enter actually London this year. I've entered it I've entered it 5 times. I finalised 5 times. But this year I didn't do it, yeah.
And obviously, Andy, you're a finalist alongside myself and the rest of the art team members of the artistic team category.
We finalised this year, yeah. We're quite consistent in the artistic team in finalising. I think we've been finalised every year for a number of years now.
Yeah.
We're really pleased with it.
We're chasing that third win, aren't we?
We've got to chase that third win. I mean, I think that's the killer one, you know.
I've got a couple of questions here.
Please.
Pauline Beatty says, is it going to end up as a pixie cut, and would this be suitable for fine hair?
Yes, it will be suitable for fine hair. It will end up a pixie in some form, but it's going to be a pixie with a twist.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. You know, it's not going to be just a standard pixie. The fringe looks great on her. Do you like it though?
I think
Do you like
it's
the
great.
fringe?
It really does suit her. It's lovely on her face.
Looks good, doesn't it?
And the other thing we've got is a quick question about the colour.
Oh, yes.
The colour actually, I did the colour this morning for Andy. So this is Chris Williams, International Colour Director behind the camera here today. I did the colour for Andy this morning, so we got in nice and early and have worked with that. But actually we coloured Anika's hair not that long ago, so there's a little bit of history going on here, because she was quite dark. She's been pre-lightened from a level 4 with a violet tone. So she's been pre-lightened up from that. And then it was all toned sort of quite ashy, except for a coppery piece in the fringe. That had faded out. And so today, what I've done is I've just worked one colour over the whole of the old colour. So both the ashy colour at the back, which had sort of faded to a level 8 with a sort of gold and an ash tone, and also the coppery pieces in the fringe, which you can just see Andy kind of revealing there. And what I've used is a mix of a level 8 with a violet and a blue tone. So if those of you that use L'Oreal, we use L'Oreal Professional here. So I've used Majorel 821, one whole tube of that, and then half a tube of level 7 with an intense copper tone, so that's 744, plus 4 grams of copper mix, plus 2 grams of 560, so that's a 560 Carmelane, so that's a level 5 with a violet red tone to it. I've just used that to sort of tone over the top of all of the hair, mixed with 20 volt, a little bit of warm water, took that straight through, full development time. And then when I've washed that off, I've just run over the top of it a little bit of colourful hair, which is a direct colour, and just use a little bit of the pink sorbet over the top, which is just a very soft baby pink colour, just to give it a little bit of tone. But it's all about, with this collection, the mix of kind of cool and warm. So here we've got that kind of mix working through. Lynn says a while ago she watched Philip Wilson from the USA demonstrating no tension cutting.
Yes.
She does this now on some of her haircuts. Do you ever do any no tension cutting, Andy?
Yes, I do. Yeah, occasionally do it. I think that, if I don't know what she means by no tension cutting. Is it when they use the combs and then cut the line? Is that what you mean by that? Because I've seen Philip do it. I've seen Philip do that. Or is it more of a no comb, using the scissors, just freehand work? It's very difficult to know what she's...
Lynn, if you pop that in the comments, then I'll pass that on to Andy so we can answer your question.
I'll let you know. Yeah, exactly.
In the meantime, Andy, Rick Roberts has said congratulations on BHA. He'll be seeing you there. He's asked again what scissors you're using.
I'm using wings today.
And we'll see you there, Rick, as well. Good luck.
He's finalised. He's done a fantastic collection this year. It's been amazing. So, going to come from the middle of the back now. I'm just going to layer a little bit of weight. I'm loving the way it's sitting now. So, just to keep you up to date, because we've been chatting through that front area. All I've done is just deepen the section a little bit across asymmetrically, which just removes a bit of weight from the area that's going to fall over. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start with the crown, work each section. I'm just going to start to lift. I'm going to just layer this out, leaving the area on the crown to drop over.
You've got, Lynn says yes, so just going back to the no tension cutting thing, Andy.
Yeah, please.
Lynn says yes, and also using 2 brushes at the front for safe feathering.
It's not something we do. Yeah, it's not something we school. Our school is a bit more, we kind of work wet to dry. So we work all our techniques with the scissors and the comb, which is fine. Obviously you can see that. But we work everything wet to dry, which means we take very small sections, and we like to work with lots of foundation within the shape. So it's slightly different in the way we work. So we don't tend to work that way, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You've got Vivi Volpa says hola joven español.
Oh, hola, hola. I'm quite good at that. I know that word.
Hola, I know. We don't speak Spanish. I think that's what she's saying.
No problem.
Sorry, but hi. Nice to have you watching.
This is working really well now. So I'm now going to work from the crown. I'm going to work slightly short to long. So I'm going to angle this panel a little bit longer. So I'm going to change my angle. So I've cut square through the crown. Now I'm going to work more short to long to maintain a little bit of length through the front. Not too much. I just want a small amount falling over the crown, that fringe area.
Ali Smallman says she's learned to be a hairdresser and she loves the videos. Thanks, Ali. Hopefully you're getting a lot out of it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ali.
If you like them, guys, we want to get spread the word. We want to get as many people, to share this sort of education. So please, if you are watching, please like, please share, spread the word, because it's all about sharing love and getting people sort of interested. So please do like and share. So that we can get the word out to as many hairdressers as possible.
You can just see what I'm doing here. Sorry, Chris. Can you see your video?
Yeah.
So each section is just coming across onto the previous section. So my horizontal line is going to be square, and obviously I'm working a triangular line vertically. When I dry the hair off, this is going to create lots and lots of interior movement for me. It's hopefully going to encourage people basically to start cutting the hair, not committing too much when the hair is wet. That's what this whole haircut's really about. It's about working the foundational shape in when the hair is wet, cross-checking it, make sure it's balanced, but then at the end we dry it. And that's when we start to manipulate the shape into the hair and really work with her features and what the hair wants to do.
I've got Fabella Lilia Says too many times she's tried to change the colour and burning her hair, always had bad experiences. Sorry Heath had some bad experiences. I don't want to sort of comment on anything like that, but you know, if you are around in London, pop into one of the Rush salons, have a consultation. I'm sure they'll be able to give you some advice. And the other one is Wayne Myers says he's a barber, branching out and loving the content and videos. So hi to Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne. It's really cool. This asymmetry with the frontal section has really created a great texture, which I'll show you in a minute. And what we can do is the way we can really change the way we dress the hair out. It's giving me more scope having this disconnection in the hair. I'm allowed to play a lot more, have a lot more to kind of create the texture with. Because whenever you separate two lines, you've got one line on the underneath, one line on the top, you're creating that bit more of a diversity in the shape.
Ashley Haynes has put up a reply in Spanish. I hope you're using Google Translate there, Ashley. I don't know. I don't know what that
please,
says.
yeah, please. Hopefully you are. Yeah. So obviously the haircut's far from finished. This is just the basic elements of the haircut. When I dry the hair off, I'm going to see what I take away, what I leave. That's what's going to make it interesting, I think.
It's looking great. You can really see it coming together. And
I think what's quite interesting with short hair is that a lot of people go, oh, it's short already, what can I do? I get that a lot on it's already a crop. What can I do with it? You run out a little bit of ideas. And I think that's when short hair workshops are essential when you're an experienced cutter. Because I think you need to play with little balances, play with ideas, play with the way the hair moves, and have a go. Always work with textures. The one advantage I've got of being at Rush, I've got such a big team, and everyone's got their strengths, You've got Chris, obviously, who's really, really, really strong at colour. He's our international colour director. We'll be speaking to him all morning. He's the go-to man for colour. Got a very good eye on all aspects, but he's the colour guy that we go to. We've got Tina, who's our girl, where you go-to girl on textures and product usages. We've got Jamie with that as well. We've also got, I think the one that's coming out of the woodwork is Sunki Beck. We've got working with. He's won Southern Hairdressers of the Year twice now, but this year he's entered Avant-Garde, and I think he's now really shaping up to be someone that's quite incredible on the aspect of creativity. I'm getting an awful lot of ideas from him. I'm liking the wave. I'm going to dry it straight today though, purely because I want to check the whole thing. I want to make sure it can be worn curly or straight today. But I'm loving the texture. I'll be able to texturise it afterwards once I've blow dried it. So I'm going to use a Demon on the top first, kill a little bit of the root area. I've already applied this control to the hair, so now I'm just going to use a little bit of plee as well. This is a spray form. Anyone who knows plee knows you can almost put as much as you like. It's got a really nice way about the hair, makes the hair really pliable.
so that's plee from Technique you use there, isn't it?
Yeah, plee from Technique, L'Oreal.
And got Lindsay's face says that cut is lush.
Oh, thank you, my darling.
So Andy, you're drying it off, using your Denver again.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the Denman, then I'm going to use the round brush just to apply a bit more tension to the hair. I use a round brush when I've layered the hair, but I always tend to work Denman brush for my graduation. I need to make sure the graduation is into its natural position so I can check it correctly at the end. Always pointing the nozzle down the shaft. This colour looks amazing, Chris. And it's drying up really, really nice.
I mean, I think it's one of those colours, as it dries up, you should start to see the mix of tones, so it should become more interesting to look at. Kitty Door says, oh my god man, the Tomboy cup looks absolutely lush. And Judith Connor says she shared it. Judith, thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Peter.
And thank you, Kitty, as well. Guys, yeah, we're going to be doing these each week, so we're going to be doing a mix of cutting, colour, and the sort of session work throughout the month. If you've got any special requests, anything you'd like to see, pop them in the comments. You know, we'll do our best to try and accommodate them for you over the next few weeks. Alistair Armstrong says you can watch you all day, Anne. And Lynn Webster says, can you tell Andy his son will beat in the Business Awards for Salon Design of the Year in 2012?
Really?
I think so, I don't know. I actually think it might have been my Salon Chichester that won the Salon Design of the Year that year. But we did win one when we opened. Judith Connor says she'd love to have you cut her hair. Wayne says, would you be doing YouTube tutorials?
We'll be doing more. You know, these Facebook Lives will be more apparent. This is the way we're going to do it. We're going to go through Facebook Live, Wayne, for now. Eventually, as Rush develops, you know, we've got a great plan for the way Rush is going at the moment. As far as, you know, as a company, we're looking to get a product line. We're looking to, you know, expand. Our education is something we're looking at heavily, and how we develop it and how we grow and share. So it's going to be exciting times. We're going to be around a lot more and a lot more sharing with the other hairdressers. You know, I think Rush has been a very closed off unit for a little while, where we kind of talk internally. Now we're an external unit. You can come and share your education. We can share our education with you. So please come and join us. Maybe you want to come down and have a look at what we're doing. Come and have a look at the unit. It's incredible. Because we'll welcome you with open arms. That's all I can say. I've got this panel now working over. This is the area I'm really going to work with. And I want to dry it before I take it down. Very, very important, so I get maximum control.
And I think, guys, as well, if you are watching on Facebook, when we finish this video will get posted to the page, so it will stay up there. You'll be able to go back through the videos and see anything we've done in the past. So, you know, if you are watching, miss a bit, you'll be able to go back at the end of the live view and go through and watch it again, over and over again, as much as you want.
Chris done an amazing balayage last week. That's still on the page.
I did the little balayage technique.
Really cool. Really lots of great tips. So please go back through our archives, have a look. Allowing the hair just to sit into its natural position. Don't overcut it yet. Do you like it, guys? Yeah. Good. So I think you can see what the disconnection's doing now. Creates a totally different dimension to the shape. And I think you just need to be very clever what you leave before you take it off. Because now that gives me lots and lots of options for the haircut. Going back to my Denman, going to kill my roots off.
You've gone for quite a smooth route here, haven't you?
Yeah, I've gone for a smooth finish first. I mean, obviously now I want to check the haircut. So I can go back in and texture it the product afterwards. It's not really a problem. You'll see when I start to move through, but I want to see the way the hair's going to sit when it's dry and it's smooth. Because by stretching the hair, I know if she ever blow dries it, I'm going to be able to kind of accommodate both looks for her. So she's going to be able to wear it wavy and straight, which I think is important.
Yeah, I mean that's good.
This colour's amazing. I just love the coolness of the tones, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, for us this season, the whole Tomboy idea has been very much about mixing cool and warm. You know, so you've got that blurring of the genders, the same as you're doing a little bit with the haircut. It's about that kind of masculine meets feminine kind of feel, and we've done that, like you say here, with this mix of the cool tone and the warm tone next to each other, and also mixing the two in our formula as well.
Really cool. I'm liking the way when the hair's moved around, I'm getting lots of different shapes in the hair. And for me, look, the minute I come over, it's in a key area here. I start to obviously brush the hair over and start to, then, you know, I move this away, all of a sudden I get a completely different shape than I did when the hair's got this kind of veil coming across. A whole shape just starts to open up and create something really different.
And Bobby's saying he's loving being in the room with us.
Oh, good Bobby! Bobby's my man, I love him. He's always here.
If guys from Rush want to come down and be a part of this in the week,
providing we get a phone call, I think, you know, to be honest with you, because we just want to obviously control the numbers.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would love that. You know, if anyone wants to come down, be inspired before they go to work, please just come down. Let's share the love.
Rick Roberts says he's got to go.
Rick, it's been a pleasure having you, mate.
He loves it, but he'll pop in and see us when he's in London. Guys, anyone that's in London, this is our new academy, feel free to pop in, see us, say hi. We're just in Covent Garden, right on Bedford Street, in the heart of Covent Garden. So, you know, if you are around, pop in, share the love. And guys, if you want to come down, join us on Facebook Live, speak to us. Yeah, we'd love to have you here as well for that.
I'm now just I'm coming to a crucial part of the haircut now. So I'm now going to just come through. I'm going to start to work the shape down a little bit. Do you know, because the ends are still really quite heavy. So I want this area to be a little bit more transient than the underneath. I didn't break into the underneath, as you saw. The underneath was, you know, working with 100% structure. Now I'm literally just want to work through these areas and just start to feed this top into the underneath shape. So when I start dressing it, I'm always thinking about when the product starts to go in, what's going to happen to the hair? Am I going to get the texture that I want? So I have to work this kind of diversity within the textures. And this is what I'm doing. So first of all, working through the veil and start to break it down. As you can start to see, it starts to, I'm going to bring that in.
Oh, we're back in now.
Back in the game.
Back in the game. Sorry guys, we dropped out there. We're back with you. Hi.
At the moment alone.
Yeah, technical difficulties, so sorry we lost you, but hopefully we won't lose you now for the rest of the haircut.
For me, I'm loving this piece, Chrissy. I think this long piece here is just, you know, for me, it's kind of giving me something more. I don't want to take too much out of that. I think it gives it something. So I'm just going to have a look at that. Make sure I comb it in front of the ear. See how it's, I'm just going to literally just scoop a little bit, just blend it to that roundness of the face shape. This is where I'm quite flexible the way I cut hair.
So you were just using a cheekbone there almost as a guide?
Yeah, just cheekbone as a guide. And just start to work through. Now I'm going to now work through the crown area. Just work freehand. I'm going to work what we call a walking the scissors technique. Walk the scissors through the crown, give myself some texture into the root area. This is removing the hair from the root area of the haircut. Give myself a little bit more, so when I point the ends, I'm getting looseness through the ends of the shape. This is going to texturize more from the interior of the line and give me that little bit of pliability that I need. See now the hair's moving.
Yep, we're back live again. Sorry guys, just lost the signal there. Please tune in again if you aren't there with us. I apologise. Unfortunately, we are on a temporary Wi-Fi solution here. At the minute, it will be back up and running, or we'll be upgrading to some sort of supersonic thing in the next couple of weeks. So we'll hopefully stop losing people then.
I'm now just going to apply some product to the hair. Now, like I said, there's no right or wrong way here. You know, it's...
Oh, we're back live. Sorry guys, we're just having a mega problem. Wayne says he's got to shoot off. Wayne, thank you for tuning in.
Wayne, thank you so much.
Yannick says you're a legend, and
oh, thank you, Yannick.
And Marcus says beautiful job. Catch up soon. Great job. Thanks.
Thank you, Marcus.
Trying my best with the camera, guys. I hope we'll get a bit better at it. You know, the great thing is I've got my iPhone here, and we can really get in tight and just see exactly what Andy's doing. Linda Shaw says hi from Quebec. So hi Linda. You're in Canada, so hi. Lovely to hear from you.
I'm just going to now just apply a bit of sea salt to the hair. Just make the hair look a bit dusty.
So that's Laurie Professional Technique.
Kind of creative.
Oh, we're back up, guys.
I'm just going to recap that now for you guys. So I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. It will get better every week. Nika, just to recap, who's watching, very simple shape, obviously done in a quite clever way, I think, you know. So just a horseshoe running to a point just behind the mastoid. So I'll just turn around for you.
Oh, we're back in, guys.
And there's my finished look, guys. I hope you liked it today. It's been a pleasure.
Please tune in again next week. We'll be sharing another fantastic look for you next week at the same time every week. So please tune in. I hope you guys like it. Remember, please like and share the video. Let's share the love and get as many people tuned in as we can.
Thank you so much.